What if I were to tell you that there is an easy chord trick that makes playing your open cowboy chords even easier that pros use all the time? Well, there is, and I'm going to teach it to you right now. My name's Jake, and for the past 16 years, I've been teaching the coolest people on the internet how to play guitar. By the end of this video, you'll know an easier and often prettier way to play 4 of the most common open chords that pros use all the time. First, I'll teach you the 4 chords we're using. Then I'll teach you how we're using the simple trick. And third, we'll go over exactly how to apply it to songs. The chords we're going to use are E minor, C, G, and D. E minor is our index and middle fingers on frets 2 of strings 5 and 4. C is first finger, first fret of the second string. Middle finger, second fret of the 4th string, and then ring finger is on 3rd fret of the 5th string. Now, just as a tip with the C chord, especially if you're just starting out, a lot of people try to do it where their fingers are parallel to the frets. And you see, you have to do these big stretches here. And it's hard to get your hand to do that at first. If you turn your wrist just a little bit, like you're gonna bring your fingers along the neck of the guitar pointed towards the body, you can actually bring your thumb up a little bit, but create more space in your fingers. I find that's a comfortable way for a lot of beginners to approach the C chord. So you might want to give that a try. Next chord is going to be D. So it's middle finger, second fret of the thinnest string, index finger, second fret of the 3rd string, and then our ring finger goes in between 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Finally, we have a G chord, 3rd fret of the thinnest string, 3rd fret of the thickest, and then our index finger goes on 2nd fret of the 5th string. Now, the deal with these chords is there's a lot of changing. My fingers have to move a bunch to make that happen. So what we want to do is we want to find a place that we can kind of park some of our fingers and make it easier to move around between these chords. That's exactly what we're going to do. Before we dive in, which of these 4 basic chords has been the most tricky for you? I've been finding people saying C and D, which is surprising because G was the hardest for me. I'd love to know which one you're struggling the most with, at least right now. All right, so let's talk about this trick the pros use. We need to take 2 fingers and we need to park it on 3rd fret of the thinnest 2 strings. Now, I don't have a pinky, so I've got to use fingers 2 and 3. You probably have a pinky, so 3 and 4 are going to make the most sense, generally speaking. So we want to make our very first chord. So let's start by figuring out how to play E minor. I'm going to take my free finger and I'm going to play 2nd fret of the 5th string, and I can strum all the strings. That's going to be an E minor 7 chord, which is a really beautiful chord. It sounds really pretty. And again, it's not the same as this E minor, but it will function the same. If you see E minor in a song, 9 times out of 10, maybe 99 times out of 100, this E minor 7 is going to sound great. Our next chord is going to be a C chord. We can just slide this finger up 1 fret to be 3rd fret of the 5th string. Now we're playing a C sus2, which again, 99 times out of 100, you see a C chord, this one's going to work. In fact, a lot of times it is the C chord that you're hearing on records, and it will sound more right than our traditional old C chord. All right, so our next chord is going to be a G. All we're going to do is move this 3rd fret of the 5th string over to 3rd fret of the 6th. To get our D chord, we're going to move our index finger to 2nd fret of the 3rd string. This one's only a 4-string chord. We're strumming strings 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, this isn't the same as a D. It is a D sus, which is a slightly different chord. But again, most of the time, if you see a D, this is going to work. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. This one's probably an 88 out of 100 or a 90 out of 100 instead of 99, but it's still, most of the time, this chord's going to get the job done. And in a lot of instances, it's actually going to get the job done better than a traditional D. It just depends on the song and the context and all that stuff. But again, most of the time, these guys are going to work. I did put together a little PDF that has these chords written out in chord boxes, and then it's going to show you kind of the strumming thing that we're doing next. If you want that PDF, you can get it for free at school.com/guitar in my free course and community. It'll be there inside for you if that's of interest. Okay, so let's talk about how to apply this to songs. All we're going to do is park our fingers down, figure out what the chord progression and strumming pattern are of a song. I'm going to use the most common strum pattern in the world, which is G, D, E minor, C. You notice I'm only moving 1 finger around. Now, if you're using your 3rd finger and your 4th finger, because again, you probably have a pinky even though I don't, you might, use your index finger on 2nd fret and your middle finger on 3rd fret. That's totally fine. However you decide to fret these is going to work. We just got to pick our 2 fingers to park and leave them there. All right, so our common chord progression, G, D, E minor, C. Now we're going to apply a strumming pattern. I'm going to use a really simple one that works for a ton of songs that I find is kind of a good Swiss Army knife. I'm going to strum down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, and then I'm going to change chords. Make sure after that first down you do what's called a ghost strum. You retake your pick without touching the strings. Down, ghost, down, up, ghost, down, up. Okay, let's try it.